Well, thanks, Mark, for playing at Wood Nickel today. It was a great performance. I really enjoyed it. Could you maybe tell me how you got started in music as a young lad?
I was a young lad, ever since I can remember. The Beatles, were in here,
Yeah, great, great.
and picked up a one-string guitar that was laying around the house and started playing it incorrectly, upside down. But yeah, it's always been kind of going through my head ever since I was little,
Uh-huh.
and sort of stayed with it ever since.
Did you start writing songs at a young age, or did you just perform covers, or what really got you going with guitar and voice?
Pretty much just trying to get around on it,
Mm-hmm.
because I played kind of in an unorthodox way.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot more difficult to learn other people's songs, but I started writing my own probably in my teens.
Okay. Okay.
But that kind of never stopped, on and off.
Mm-hmm. And I know you've been in a couple of bands. You just want to quickly mention who they were and the kind of the time frames of when they've been around?
Well, when I was over in Ohio, that's where I'm originally from,
Okay.
I had an acoustic duo called This Year's Fad. And then I had a louder band. This is in the grunge era, called Ton.
Okay.
And after Ton was a band called Grace Engine.
Okay.
We started playing over here more in Fort Wayne.
Okay.
Then I played solo and started a band called Vandola,
Mm-hmm.
which is sort of between Toledo and Fort Wayne.
Right.
And we put out a few albums, and then that led to now, which I'm putting out an album under my own name.
Okay. Let's talk about your new album. It's called Sleepy Furnace, and it's all your own compositions, I understand.
Mhm.
And what's the time frame that, as far as the songwriting and studio time and all that? How long has that been kind of in your head?
Wow, there was a batch of songs that bubbled up in the maybe 2008, and then those basically got recorded then, and then another batch came last year, and the whole thing sort of got wrapped up by the end of the year.
Okay.
And,
And where was it recorded?
well, we did some drum tracks, which, by the way, about a third of the drums, maybe a little more, are from a gentleman named Kyle Stevenson, who's in Vandola.
Okay.
And we actually recorded those drums at the home of Darren Monroe from I Wombat.
I see.
And
Okay.
he and a fella named John Schaefer kind of engineered the drum recording.
Okay.
But everything else was done at my house.
Oh, okay.
In a spare room at my house on the computer.
Oh, really? Wow. Kind of a home production almost, huh?
Yeah,
But well, I like the sound of it. It sounds really,
Thank you.
really well produced.
thanks.
Let's talk a little bit about songwriting. Could you tell me, in writing songs, what type of influences or inspirations or do you have, and what's your process in songwriting?
Well, it's kind of let go and find out. I mean, every time I try really hard is when I can be sure that nothing will come.
Mhm.
Uh, Sometimes it helps to really get deeply immersed in a certain artist for a while, in a certain record. That's
Mhm.
kind of, some people can be really omnivorous about the stuff that they listen to.
Mhm.
I tend to get into like one album per season
Okay.
and sort of soak it in.
Okay.
But as far as process, I don't know. I mean, it just kind of comes. Sometimes the music comes first, sometimes the words come first.
Okay.
It's a really organic process, but there's some, kind of editing and crafting involved.
And you mentioned earlier the Beatles were like your first, sounds like your early influence. Who else? Who else would you say have been influences over the years besides the Beatles?
Well, I went through all the normal stuff up through my teens and, younger years, and then I really got heavily into things like Guided by Voices,
Mm-hmm.
Pavement,
Mm-hmm.
bands like that, and then I got more into maybe Sparkle Horse.
Mm-hmm.
Wilco's a great band.
Right.
Just too many to name,
Right.
but
So
there's
kinda
a
all
lot
over
of
the
good
board.
music out there.
Yeah. And what direction do you plan on taking your music? I mean, obviously this is your first solo album, I understand.
Mhm.
So, what would you think you're going to be doing in the next 5 to 10 years with your music? Have you thought about that, or?
Not really. I mean, this is sort of my little present to myself,
Okay.
being able to promote this album.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to get it to folks' ears, as many folks as I can listening to it.
Mhm.
I don't really have any huge aspirations for it beyond, trying to make it heard.
Hmm.
You know,
And on the net, if people would like to get a hold of you and hear your music and so forth, what's the best place to do that?
well, you could go to myspace.com/Hutch Songs,
Okay.
Hutch songs.
Okay.
Also, you can go to myspace.com/Vandola
Okay.
um, to hear the Vandola stuff.
Okay.
And one thing I'd like to add about the album was that once it was pretty much finished, I got some help from Kevin Hambrick from Orange Opera,
Okay.
John Hubner from Goodbye Wave. My editor at work put some banjo on it.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
All right. Excellent.
And Josh Hall from Thunderhawk actually did the mastering.
Oh, he did. Excellent.
So it was nice to have some people giving me a hand there right at the end, and that makes me really happy.
Well, congratulations on putting together the album. It sounds great. I've heard it already, and it's wonderful.
Thank you.
And thanks again for playing today, and good luck with everything in the future, Mark.
Appreciate it.
Okay.